Hi everybody, Elizabeth here at Petals and Parchment. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm working with Botanica Obscura, which is one of 3 kits available in this month's membership in the Petals and Parchment Paperie. You get all 3 kits. It's called the Triple Creature Feature. I'm going to show you how to assemble the folio, and then we're going to jump into this week's bonus pages, which I have cut out here. So let me put this to the side and we'll start with the folio. You can get out your scoreboard for this, or you can just fold it. There are 2 lines here that you'll want to crease to create your folio. And you'll just fold and burnish both of those creases. So you will end up with a small spine here. Set that aside, and one more time for the flap here. I have included 2 of these, one going in each direction, so you can decide which way you'd like your folio to face, or you can also add an extra panel to it. Grungy brick page, and then we're just going to glue this page here. Add some glue to this tab. And then I'm going to pick this up and lay it down on top of my glue so that I can line it up as closely as I can and burnish that down. And as I said, you can add the 4th panel to this side if you would like. I have one more score line, which you can see only really well at the bottom here, so use that as your guide right here. Great, so now we've got the small spine on each side. Okay, and feel free to ink up around that if you'd like, and then move this out of the way, and you can add all sorts of pockets from the kit. These 2 come with it, so you could do some tall pockets and glue it on the side here, which is what I'm going to do. Pocket here. You could also turn these and cut them down and make pockets this way. You can stack them up like so and have double pockets, and I think I'll think about that and come back to it. I'm not sure yet what I want to do with the inside of this, but that is the assembly. Okay, so now that we've got our folio together, we can work on the closure. So I've included these 2 little brick dots here, and you can just glue them back to back. I try to keep the glue around the edge when I'm poking a hole in the middle, just to make it easier to go through, and choose which brick you want on the front. And we're going to poke a hole in the center. I've got my awl and just a piece of styrofoam here, and I'm just gonna poke and take my awl through large enough to fit a small brad, and then I'll decide where I want my closure, and I think I'm going to put mine right here. Okay, and then you just put your brad through the hole and through the center here, and then split the tines, and don't put it down too tightly so that you can wrap some twine around there. I'm waiting on some vines to come, so I may use that, or you could use something like this, and you tie it underneath. So, and then you just wrap it around once or twice, however long you want, and then cut it off, and you can continue to wrap it around your closure here like so. And then it's helpful if you put a piece of washi tape here to hold down the brad so that it doesn't catch on anything, and then you can cover with your pocket. Okay, and I'm going to continue to decorate this on my own. Let's move on to the next portion. Okay, this next portion uses the week 1 bonus pages that I've provided for the members, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. These are really tricky to cut out, but if you like fussy cutting and you like a challenge, I think it's definitely worth it. They are super cool. So let me show you what I had in mind, and then you know, feel free to adapt that to your project. And I did print just a backing sheet on the back, so you can stick it down in your journal or put it in a pocket, but man, is that cool. So let's start with the shorter plant first. This is just a shorter version. So I've given you 2 pots that fit back to back here, and so my thought is just to cut a little hole here in the pot and glue Audrey II inside. So I've just used my X-Acto knife to cut a small hole there. I'm going to slide the creature's vines down into the pot here carefully. I think I'm going to cut off this little tail here. Oop, there we go, got it. So now it looks like it's growing out of the pot. How awesome. So I'm just gonna glue this little tail in here, and then glue the other pot on the back and glue them together like this. How cute is that? Let's move on to this one, which is a little bit trickier. I'm going to do the same thing and cut a hole in this tin can here. Just kind of following along as closely as I can to the edge of the can, like so. And I'm going to leave that one alone and set that aside. And then I'm going to glue this on the back because this is going to be a hidden journaling spot. My glues are not cooperating. Okay, so this turns it into like a hidden journaling space. And then, okay, I'm back, and unfortunately I lost the last portion of my video. So luckily I have one more creature cut out so that I can get this out sometime today. It is Friday. So let me show you what I did first, and then I'll show you how I did it. So this is the completed Audrey II in his little tin can, and it opens up here for a hidden journaling space. Okay, so when I left you last, we glued this piece here. So the next step is to cut out the other head, and what I did was I cut around the head and left the neck vine in place, and then I glued this journaling card to the back of this. Then I took some hand-dyed paper and I made a little hinge just like this, and pretend this head isn't here. You're gonna take your spine and glue one part of the hinge underneath the spine, and don't worry if it hangs out a little bit, we can trim that up later. And then you come in with the journaling card, it will be facing the other way. So this will be the outside of the monster's head, and then there would be the plain journaling card on the inside, and you glue the other part of the hinge between the journaling card piece and the head piece. So let me show you again here. It's a hidden spine because it's underneath the creature's spine piece, and then it's also sandwiched between the journaling card and the face. I apologize for not having the process video, but hopefully you've understood my example and my explanation, and I would love to see if you make one. Also, save all of the little vines and things that come off of the other piece, and you can use them to glue to the monster to reinforce it, because it is a little bit flimsy, but if you're going to glue it down in your journal, then that doesn't really matter, and then just this piece is still free and becomes a hidden journaling spot. But having the reinforcement of the additional leaves adds more character and dimension, and it also reinforces it a little bit. In my previous video, I talked about an idea where if you were really super brave, you could cut out the monster and then glue it to a green file folder. They have like this vintage green file folder that would match it pretty perfectly, and then cut it out a second time. I didn't have the patience to do that, but that would definitely add some more structure to the beast. And then once you do this portion, it should be sturdy enough to stay up in your hand just by holding it like this. But I plan to glue it down into my journal and just have the head be the moving piece. I hope you enjoy this tutorial, and I hope you like these bonus pages. Stay tuned for the second show in our creature feature this month, where next week we will visit the Brine Witch. Don't forget to show me what you make in the Facebook group, because that truly is my favorite part, seeing your creativity shine. Until next time, stay crafty. Bye!